one. Ooh. What you got there, man?
Are you troubled by strange nerdery in the middle of the night? Do you experience feelings of dread in your game room? Have you or your family ever seen a geek, nerd, or dork? If the answer is yes, then don't wait another minute. Pick up your phone and download the professionals. The Oz and the Geek and the Freak Talk Geek podcast. Our courteous and efficient staff is on call 24 hours a day to serve all your gurky needs. We're ready to geek out with you. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are listening and watching the premier Geek podcast, OZ and the Freak Talk Geek. I'm OZ.
And I'm the Freak. And this is a very blurry photo album. So today we're going to be talking about like a whole bunch of different paranormal stuff.
Right.
Ghost stories, cryptids, mostly cryptids. Kind of fits in with the whole Halloween theme that we've got going on,
It's
spooky
spooky
ghosts
season.
and everything like that. Yeah. So gonna jump right in and talk about some ghosts.
Good. Now,
So
let it be known that I am a huge fan of haunting fantasy, and I'm a big Ghostbuster fan. Some of my favorite movies are like have that ghostly or spiritual or poltergeist things. But I do not believe in ghosts.
why not?
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it.
I'm a show me.
You're a
Show me
show
the
you
proof.
guy. Show you. So you don't believe in aliens or any of the other cryptids or anything like that?
I believe mathematically
Uh-huh.
aliens exist.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I don't believe. Let me put it this way. I believe it's possible that they have come to visit us because mathematically they exist.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, like I don't know. I don't know if they're the gray, big-eyed, black-eyed, creatures. I don't know if they look like us or anything like that. I believe it's possible.
Yeah.
But as far as ghosts are concerned, like I have a harder edge. Like, no.
What about lizard people?
No. No.
Illuminati?
No.
Okay.
You shut your
Antifa?
mouth. You shut your mouth, sir.
So
that's enough out of you.
I'm spiritual in a weird way, like
okay. Well, okay, we're not talking about spiritualism. We're not talking about like religion or feeling of higher being. I'm talking about the existence of ghosts.
Yeah, so I believe in spirits and afterlife. I believe that there are spirits that roam the earth. I don't necessarily believe in like haunted houses, and I'm not talking about the Halloween haunted houses. Those are cool. I love those places. We've got a lot around here, Creepy Hollow, and Kingsville Asylum, but they changed their name to, I forgot what the name, Purgatory. But anyways, no, like haunted houses, like you see these for starters, you see these ghost hunters, which are absolute bullshit. I hate these shows. These guys that go to this haunted house. This place is so haunted, blah blah blah, all this and that, and yet nobody's ever actually gotten any sort of evidence. They got these stupid little boxes that make all these noises, and occasionally the word pops out. And yeah, you've got all sorts of gadgets, gizmos, and all this other stuff, and they believe like there's all this, they believe the scientific evidence of electronics and how they work with ghosts and spirit. I'm like, there's no proof in any of this. There's no science and no proof in this. I find so much of the ghost hunting shit so hard to believe. I do believe that there might be spirits. I don't necessarily believe that they're tethered to one point or one foundation or anything like that. um
Do you
uh
think that there's some kind of transference of like human energy that after we die, that energy has to come out and go do something somewhere else since energy itself doesn't die?
in a way, yeah, in a way it's something similar to that. Like people say, like, you have your mind's eye or your third eye or something like that. And some people correlate that to being like the soul. I don't think like your soul is necessarily in your mind. I believe like the soul would be like essentially throughout your entire body. It's like an energy going through your entire body, kind of like the force, midi chlorian type shit. It's going through your whole body. And energy, what is it, energy can't be created or destroyed or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that energy has to go somewhere. It doesn't just fizzle out. And I think that sometimes I don't know what there is as far as like afterlife, heaven, hell, Valhalla, and all sorts of other shit and everything like that. I don't know where, I can't claim where people go. you know but I do think that the soul can leave the body at the time of death, and I believe that they can create roaming spirits. And because the soul isn't something that can be seen or felt or touched or anything like that, that's why we don't see them. That's not just necessarily say that they don't exist in a way. So sometimes maybe some are stronger than the others, and they use their midi chlorians and they could actually manifest themselves, and which is when you get spirits and different ghosts and hauntings and stuff. But now I don't necessarily believe in haunted houses that you can go to and experience this stuff. Yeah, I that's this kind of stuff I just find real hard time to believe.
Right.
A few years back when me and Crystal were working with the Houston Zombie Walk, we did a team building exercise in which we went to the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, Texas.
Okay. Is this a popular haunting spot?
Yeah, apparently it's a popular haunted place, and you can go and stay there. And they say that that there was a kid that was killed there, and other people died in the house. And they decorate the house, and they make it all kind of creepy and stuff like this. And they give you like a chest full of all sorts of different recording equipment and all these different toys and gizmos that you see on these ghost hunter shows. And like there's a room with a mirror, and you're supposed to sit there with a mask and like close the door, and you're supposed to hear stuff and shit. And I'm just like, I did it, and I was like, there's nothing here. you know uh some of the people claim that they saw and heard stuff.
Sure.
The
Tessa had a similar experience at a hotel in Eureka. What was the name of that hotel called, man?
The Crescent.
The Crescent Hotel.
Yeah.
And she saw a ghost get a sandwich at a vending machine.
No, not exactly. No.
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Not exactly? Oh, I'm sorry, it was a cupcake.
No, the cupcake thing started to spin when I didn't push any buttons.
Oh, okay.
And it doesn't move on its own without a button being pushed, and I didn't push anything.
Okay.
Yeah. It ordered a sandwich.
So when we were at this place in Mineral Spring, or Mineral Wells, sorry. The missus heard some like serious knocking, like really hardcore pounding that scared the shit out of her. And nobody else was around, so nobody else could have done it. We had everything on cameras. The whole place is rigged with cameras. So, but we didn't hear the knocking. So, I believe her. She heard something. Okay, cool. I didn't experience anything. We stayed the night there. There was nobody else there but me, Crystal, and our friend Pete, and it was and my buddy Schmitty. Sorry. There's just the four of us there. I didn't experience anything. I went and did everything. I went these all the different places. I was in the dark, complete silence, never heard, never saw anything. We got orbs, but I mean that's just dust molecules to me. So I
Were
gave
you open to the possible? Were you like really open, or did you go in with a state of mind of like, this is bullshit? Or were you open to the possibility that something could happen, that an energy could be here and it could manifest itself to you?
a little bit of column A, little column B. I went in there
Right.
with high hopes and I left with bullshit. In fact, we actually left in the middle of the night, walked down to the street to some hotel that's in mineral wells as well. And the hotel looked creepy, and I got eerie ass feelings from this hotel that's like abandoned and stuff like that, and completely blocked off. You can't get in there. And I'm like, that hotel seemed a lot creepier than this house, you know. Once you
Right.
get people that put these houses up that you can come stay in because it's super haunted and everything, I was like, that's when I kind of lose faith that it's really actually haunted.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't experience anything. We had a great time,
Right.
but nothing happened over here. But as far as like these
And
ghosts,
I've been in a similar boat, which is why I don't believe in ghosts and stuff like that. It's like I know people who have experienced this stuff, have been, and I've been in the same places as them. My
mhm,
sister, my mother, they've experienced something not maybe a spiritual attack or like some kind of experience, and I've been in those places that they have had those experiences, and I've experienced nothing.
mhm. Now,
So,
one of the big reasons I do 100% believe in ghosts and places that might be haunted.
mm,
You remember my parents' old place there in Katy?
yeah.
Okay, so me, several of my exes, my wife, one of my a lot of my friends over there, and my buddy Tim have experienced shit at that house. So we would be in our kitchen downstairs, and I swear it would sound like my trunk upstairs was like being dragged across the floor and then like picked up and dropped. You know, there's loud banging coming from upstairs. We'd go upstairs, nothing. There was one time that like there we have that big banister up top, that walkway, and there's a hall light up top. And I swear one time we saw like a woman's shadow on the wall, which kind of weirded us out. And so the old man always said it was like the water pipes and stuff like that. And we debunked it because there's never any water running during any of these times we heard stuff. And the weirdest, absolute weirdest thing that to this day I have absolute no explanation for happened to me. And I don't know if you remember my buddy Tim.
You do.
So me and Tim were staying the night. The parents were out of town. And the night before, we left our Yu-Gi-Oh decks on the kitchen table. The next morning that we came out, our Yu-Gi-Oh decks were spread everywhere across the table and on the floor. And then in the middle of the table, they were in the form of like, it wasn't a cross. I mean, it was literally like a plus sign, and there was a car like circles around it, like going around it, which completely weirded us out.
Sure.
Later that night, while we and him were playing, I think it was Morrowind on the Xbox. Yeah, I'm dating ourselves here. We were in the living room. Next thing you know, we heard a plate made a loud crash noise. We went into the kitchen, and there was a plate on the floor, and it was completely split in half. It wasn't shattered. It didn't go anywhere. And this is stoneware. So stoneware shatters.
Right.
It was completely split in half perfectly. I mean, you could take a ruler to it. It was kind of creepy. And then later, like another day, when my parents came home, me and Tim were upstairs in the bathroom, and we were getting ready to go out. And we're in the not that actual bathroom, but we're like brushing our teeth and doing our hair and stuff like that. And we had the door shut, and we heard some knocking on the door. And then, Tim just goes over and because he was closest door, and he knocks back. And then it knocked something, whoever was on the other side of the door knocked back. And then he knocked back again. And then there was a very loud banging on the door. And we're like, holy shit. And we threw the door open, and there was nobody there. The only person there at the time was my mom. And my mom, short, not fit. Okay. There's no way in hell she would have run up those stairs, turned the landing and then gone back up and then went around the side and banged on the damn door and run all the way back down to get in the kitchen. Just physically impossible. So that really, really kind of creeped us out, and we left the house there for a while. And I mean, that other than that and the constant banging while we were in the kitchen, we never heard any or saw anything else. But it was weird, man. It was weird.
I get
so
it.
That
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is like I've been at your house quite a few times.
Yeah.
And never experienced anything there.
I'm surprised you never heard the banging from the kitchen, at least.
No, nothing, dude.
Yeah.
Nothing. Even when I moved up, even when I moved to Arkansas, and the first place I started working at, like they said that that warehouse had been there for years and years and years and years, and they claimed that there was a ghost in the warehouse that would throw shit, across the warehouse and stuff like that, and nothing the entire time I was there. We got a possum.
But we had a possum. I shot it. It was in the front yard.
But no, so now, like in my head, I'm like, okay, everything they thought happened there is probably a possum or some kind of animal got into the warehouse.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of checks out.
Yeah. Now,
all right.
As far as hauntings are concerned, what intrigues me are the legends that are cryptids. Now, the biggest main cryptid of all, which we really won't dive too much into on this episode, is Bigfoot. And I believe in the possibility of Bigfoot.
We're not going to talk about Bigfoot?
I mean...
You mean this guy? Yeah? That's Bigfoot, right?
I love that movie so much.
Wrong picture. Sorry.
I love that movie so. There he is.
There he is.
Now, is that Bigfoot? I doubt it, but I believe in the possibility of Bigfoot.
And like one of my favorite comedians, Mitch Hedberg. He had a little skit where he was talking about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And he believes that not only is Bigfoot real, but Bigfoot has a special power. And his special power is that he's blurry. I mean, this is a digitally enhanced version of this image, where we actually get to see the sway. This is the iconic image right here of Bigfoot.
The main, what they account as the first photographic evidence of Bigfoot.
They talk about his sway and the way he walks and just that look over. And I'm like, these pictures are usually like from so far away. Like I can't. What the fuck is that guy?
That's not a thing.
And that looks like maybe like a tree stump sticking up out of the ground or something, like an old tree or something. I don't know.
That's like the picture of Nessie. It's a floating log.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe that there's a possibility of there being a missing link or a link between. Well, evolution has been proven. So is there still a small clan of humanoids that haven't quite evolved? I think it's a possibility. However, unlikely. But I do think it is a possibility. I believe in the possibility of Bigfoot.
Yep. So Bigfoot, if there's anybody who doesn't know what Bigfoot is, he's a muscular bipedal human or ape-like creature covered in black and brown or dark reddish fur that typically roams around like the Pacific Northwest region, also known as Sasquatch. That's another name for him.
Sasquatch.
Sasquatch and Bigfoot. And there's movies about Bigfoot. There's documentaries, mockumentaries, like this whole pseudoscience documentary crap. Like there's all these shows, and every show is the exact same. It's usually
sure.
it's
They talk
usually
to the
some like
same professionals. They talk to
podo
the
yeah,
same
and
eyewitnesses.
it's usually some fat bearded podunk dude and his friends. I'm being real here, and they're in the woods and they're talking about the behaviors of Bigfoot, how they travel in groups and they throw rocks at people and shit like that. And I'm like, all right, let's and in so many of these documentaries you see them panicking and like there's rocks being thrown at them, but you never see who's throwing these rocks.
Sure.
And I'm like, this is why am I still watching this?
It's not cousin Jethro, 20 yards away off camera.
Yeah. So
But
that's Bigfoot.
that's Bigfoot. But there are some interesting cryptids, which I think are just like, I don't know how many people know about them. I've mentioned one before, and people have like, that's a real thing. Yeah, where do you think the hockey team came from? And I'm talking about the Jersey Devil.
Ah, yes, the Jersey Devil.
Or as it was originally known as, the Leeds Devil.
Ooh.
So let me pull this up real quick.
All right, what you got?
So, according to popular folklore, the Jersey Devil originated with a Pine Barrens resident named Jane Leeds. She was known locally as Mother Leeds, and Mother Leeds had 12 children. And when she became pregnant with her 13th child, she cursed the child and said that this child would be the devil. And in 1753, Mother Leeds was in labor on a stormy night with her friends gathered all around her. The 13th child was born normally. However, it transformed into a creature with hooves, a goat's head, bat wings, and a forked tail, growling and screaming. And the child beat everyone with his tail before flying up the chimney and heading into the pines. Mother Leeds was supposedly a witch, and the child's father was the devil himself. And some versions of the legend also state that local clergymen subsequently attempted to exorcise the creature from the Pine Barrens. So we're talking about either a son of Satan, demon born on earth, and haunting the woodlands of New Jersey.
So, sounds to me if Jade Leeds had just, kept her legs shut or stopped after like 3 or something like that, like normal people, this all could have been prevented.
Hey, man, we're talking about like the 1700s, man. All it was to do was farming and fucking.
I'm just saying, though. I mean, Jesus. Like, okay, so 13 children. That was the 13th child, right? So for at least like 14, 15 years, or 13 to 14 years of this woman's life, pretty much, she was just constantly pregnant or going through, the after parts of having a child. Like she was just consistently pregnant.
Correct.
At that point, they were probably just falling out. Like, we got another one.
What I think is fascinating is that this creature, this cryptid, has existed since the 1700s.
Yeah.
It has been in folklore, American folklore, for that long. I trying to think of a cryptid that exists or has sightings to this day that has existed this long.
I'm sure maybe there probably is, but I didn't dive into this that much.
Right.
I just kind of hit on some of the popular ones and some of my favorites, really. So the Leeds Devil of Leeds, and then we finally get the name of the Jersey Devil.
Correct, man. And there are even like reported sightings from Napoleon's brother saw it on his estate in 1820. Let's see. Commodore Stephen Decatur sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball directly upon it. Like, there's been sightings by prominent people for years.
So the illustration here is also an illustration in the Philadelphia Bulletin that was posted January of 1909. Is where this image come from.
And that's after the creature had been around for 200 years.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's
right?
pretty cool. I now, so I knew about the Jersey Devil, but I didn't know it was like the cursed. I didn't know the story of the cursed woman and the 13th child and everything.
Right. So, I mean, do we dive into what this could possibly be, or are we just going to believe that this demon creature is existing in the Jersey woodland areas?
Well, I mean, I've never met a demon, and I don't know how much, I don't know that much on demons and how often they live for. So, I mean, whether or not it's still around or it did happen, who knows? I think it'd be pretty cool if it did. I think it'd be cooler too if it looked like this one.
Yeah. That's like proto Kubo.
Right? I think that one's
cool.
cool.
Skull on his face.
Yeah, I like that. I like the skull. This is a pretty cool art style. They weren't necessarily going for all that creepy art back then. Like they took that goat head pretty literal here.
Right.
But the scrawny legs is kind of creepy. Like the scrawny legs and wispy tail, that part kind of, that if I saw something like that'd weird me out.
Yeah, that's the chills out of your spine.
But at the same time, you got to think people, back in the 1700s, you could tell people stories like that and they'd believe it. That was harsh Christianity and everything like that back then. And demons and witches and everything like that, I can believe that.
It's a fun little dive about the origin of the Jersey Devil in regards to the Leeds family and where the stories came from.
Mm-hmm.
And do yourself a favor, check out the Wikipedia on it and just and see how this myth or cryptid started and kind of read between the lines. It's an interesting story.
So it actually became like part of the family crest too that I was looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Titan Leeds began to, in 1728, Titan Leeds began to include the Leeds family crest on the masthead of the almanacs. Leeds family crest depicted a wyvern, bat-winged, dragon-like creature that stands upright on 2 clawed feet. Well, that's pretty weird.
They took ownership of it. They were like, well, if my family is the source of this, so be it.
That's our creepy story. We're holding on to it.
Right.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. I like that.
It's a fun one.
So let's see what we got here. Let's see. All right, here goes another one. So Nessie, right? Over in Scotland, Loch Ness Monster.
Sure.
Well, let's take the American version of Loch Ness. Okay.
Yeah, we have our own Loch Ness Monster.
We do.
Oh,
Champ.
Oh,
yep,
it's cute.
You sure you've seen this image here?
Oh wait, I thought that was Nessie.
Nope, that's Champ. That image was so it comes from Lake Champlain, which is where it gets the name Champ, which is a big body of water shared by New York and Vermont, with a portion exceeding towards Quebec, Canada. Right. So and Lake Champlain is where this photograph was taken. Let's see, the French cartographer Samuel de Champlain, the founder of Quebec and the lake's namesake, is often claimed to be the first European to have sighted Champ in 1609. Did you go all weird bat-winged on me? Okay. I don't know what you were doing. I just saw your arm up in the air.
I'm just.
And this wasn't said to be in 1609. The earliest claim for the earliest source for the claim is in the summer of 1970 issue of magazine Vermont Life. The magazine quoted Champlain as having documented a 20-foot serpent thick as a barrel and a head like a horse. There's no evidence that Champlain ever said this, although he did document large fish.
So it's a 70s monster?
1970s.
Nice.
1970s is when we started getting, images of this that started popping up.
Huh.
Let's see. In 1883, Sheriff Nathan H. Mooney claimed that he had seen a water serpent about 20 rods, the equivalent of 110 yards in length, from where he was on the shore. He claimed that he was so close that he could see the round white spots inside its mouth, and that the creature appeared to be 25 to 30 feet in length. Mooney's sighted led to many more alleged eyewitnesses coming forth with their own accounts of seeing Champ. So essentially, a lot of people didn't believe it was real until he came forth, and they're like, all right, he's a sheriff. He says it's real. I'm going to start telling people about my story. Since they believe a sheriff, maybe they'll believe me too. The photo that we're actually looking at was taken in 1977 by Sandra Manzi, who took the picture while on vacation with her family. That appears to be shown the dinosaur with his head out of the lake. The entire bay of the lake where the photograph reportedly was taken is no deeper than 14 feet, according to Joe Nikelly. It is unlikely that a giant creature could swim, let alone hide in such shallow water. It has been suggested that the object in the photograph could possibly be a rising tree trunk or log. So it's kind of one of those, we don't believe it. We're going to debunk it. We're going to say it's this. But
I've never heard Champ before. That's interesting.
Yep, that is the American Loch Ness Monster, which the Loch Ness Monster, that's where she gets her name, Nessie, is in,
Loch is lake.
Loch,
right?
Yeah, Loch is lake, yeah. And that's in Scotland, I think.
Right.
So, but this is the American Champ. There's actually a lot of fish-like cryptids that I was unaware of as we were doing research into this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like, so there's Mokele Membi, which is a dinosaur-like river swamp monster thing in the Republic of Congo. There's Ogopogo. I like that one, which is another serpent-like lake monster that's in Lake Okanagan in Canada. Selma, also known as the Seljordsormrin, which is a lake monster in Norway. And like there's a bunch more, man. Like really is a big list of serpent-like Loch Ness and Champ monsters out there.
Well, like the stories of the giant squid have been around for centuries, and we actually finally just now have proof of the actual existence of the giant squid.
Oh yeah, because we've only ever found them dead.
Right. But we have they exist.
Mm-hmm.
We know for sure they exist, and I believe there's so much ocean that's unexplored. There's so much down there and so much space to hide. Water creatures pop up new all the time.
Oh yeah, dude, they're still checking the Mariana Deep and everything.
Right.
There's more land that has been explored than there has been ocean.
Right.
And there's more ocean than there is land. So
right.
And people wonder why I'm sometimes afraid of the water. I'm like, you have literally no idea what the hell is underneath us.
Right. I'm absolutely I'm with you. Like, I think there's I really wish SeaQuest would have been a bigger show and more of a show than Star Trek. Like I think that we should be exploring here before we explore there. You know what I mean? Like, let's find out what's here first. Until we know for sure, let's keep our eyes here.
Yep. Nope. There's all sorts of weird, creepy things under the water.
Well, one of the creepy things that's actually on land that have been sighted around has been the chupacabra.
Ah, yes, the chupanibre.
Not that mangy thing.
Oh shit! Sorry, that one.
That
There
mangy
you go.
thing.
Yeah.
Now the chupacabra, or I believe is Spanish for sucks goats.
Yep, the goat sucker.
The goat sucker, which originated from Puerto Rico.
Okay.
Which I like this version of it better.
What is it? Madeline Talatino was one of the first people to have cited it, I think.
Oh no! Damn internet. I didn't go that far into research. I just saw that it was in Puerto Rico. Chupacabras a fun thing to say.
So in 1975, a series of livestock killings in the small town of Mocha, Puerto Rico, were attributed to a Vampiro de Mocha, which was the vampire Mocha. The vampire of Moco, sorry.
Okay.
Initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by satanic cults, which, I mean, yeah, I can see that. But I don't know. I'm having a hard time picturing satanic cults in Puerto Rico. I guess, I don't know. I assumed like a European and American thing for some reason.
I would go more as for like voodoo or hoodoo there than Satanism.
Yeah. I would have to agree with you there. And like I know that a lot of people try to debunk this and say that it's just like, you know, these Mexican hairless dogs or dogs with mange, but we also get reported sightings of this.
Yes, that there.
Yeah.
That is that'll wake you up in the morning. Like you're going out, you're like, all right, time to check on the goats. And then there. That is wild.
Yeah.
That's this thing too. Look at this one.
Oh yeah. Now that looks like the monster thing from what is it? Journey or not? No, not Journey to the Center of the Earth. There used to be a TV show about it where the people went into like the middle of the earth and everything, and Will Ferrell did a movie that was a remake of it.
Land of the Lost.
Land of the Lost. Yeah, remember the lizard people from Land of the Lost?
Nope, never seen it.
They were they're like a race of like lizard monster people, and this and the other image that you showed kind of look like it. So, like, physical descriptions of the creature actually vary a lot depending on from source and story to story. In Puerto Rico and Hispanic America, it's generally described as a heavy creature, reptilian and alien-like, roughly the size of a small bear, with a row of spines reaching from the neck to the base of the tail. While in southwestern United States, it depicted, more dog-like, like the ones that we get here.
Right.
So, depending on where you go and who you talk to, each one you might get different versions. Honestly, I like the alien one though. I think that's that's more creepier. The other one I would just assume it's a dog.
Right. But that thing, that's see when I first heard about chupacabra. That's something like that is what I pictured, not the dog. That is like exactly when I heard about the goat sucking monster south of the border. That is what I got in my head. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Sadly for me, the chupacabra that I come to think of anytime I think of it the chupa thingy or anything is something very similar to like a mix between these two.
Right.
I always picture some scrawny little creepy animal thing.
Yeah, it's like a mix between a greyhound and a chihuahua.
Yeah, yeah. Initial sightings and accompanying descriptions first occurred in Puerto Rico in 1995. The creature has since been reported as far at north as Maine and as far south as Chile, and even outside the Americas in countries like Russia and the Philippines. All of the reports are anecdotal and have been disregarded as uncorroborated or lacking evidence. Sightings in northern Mexico and southern United States have been verified as candids, canids afflicted by mange.
Right. Mangy
Which
dogs.
most of the canids that they're talking about are these, which is a breed of the dog called the Mexican hairless.
Right.
Which I think they're adorable.
I think they're okay. So like, all right, I like the hairless cats. I think they're cute little like nut sacks. Um, but that looks just gross. Like I don't even want to touch it. I don't even be in the same room with it.
Well, see, I think they look cool, but I think petting it would just be bothersome. Like it would feel great for that dog, but I just can't picture petting that dog. Speaking of which, there's a famous celebrity that has Mexican hairless in it. And I think remember when we did Merc in Our Mouth? Dog pull?
Oh yeah.
Dog pull is actually a mixed breed between pug and Mexican hairless.
God.
Which is why the dog looks so fugly. Now, what's going on with that dog's face and tongue? I don't know what happened there. It fell down an ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. But
yeah, I don't even want to pet dog pool. That don't like that was gross. No.
Yeah. So that right there is what most people, I think, are often mistaken for chupacabras.
Well,
I mean, you can see the resemblance there.
Yeah, if you have a stray hairless dog and it's hungry enough, it's gonna eat your goats.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just gonna sit there and suck on its blood and drain it, but I think it would just more or less eat it.
Right. Yeah. We can hope.
All right, what you got?
Oh, me again?
Yep, you got another one?
I got my last cryptid.
Okay, what's that?
This is one I actually believe in.
Oh yeah?
This is one that I believe exists. This is one that I know lives in the swamps of Louisiana. Now, I may not believe in the chupacabra. I believe it might be a mangy dog. I may not believe in the Jersey Devil. I may not even believe in Loch Ness Monster, Champ, or Bigfoot.
Uh-huh.
But I believe in the Honey Island Swamp Monster. And this is what he looks like.
So it's kind of like a mix between Bigfoot and Swamp Thing.
Oh, shut your mouth. There's no such thing as
what?
Bigfoot.
As Swamp Thing?
There's such a thing as Bigfoot, but the Honey Island Swamp Monster exists in the bayous of Louisiana.
And why do you believe that?
I do.
Why?
I
Sell me.
He's right there. It's right there.
Oh, okay.
Look at him. How can something like that not exist in the swamps of Louisiana?
I don't know, man. It just seems like something that hairy wouldn't be around bodies of water.
Bro.
Look at everything else in the swamps. They're not hairy. And if they are, they're like nutria rats and shit. They have like silky hair and not long shaggy hair.
Okay, so that may not be hair, that may be algae growing on its body. Let me tell you a little bit about the Honey Island Swamp Monster.
All right, tell me.
The Honey Island Swamp Monster, or known as the Cajun Sasquatch, or in Cajun French, La Bite Noire, is an ape-like humanoid cryptid creature, similar to the fake shit like Bigfoot. and he inhabits the Honey Island
Hobbits.
swamps. Inhabits the Honey Island swamps in St. Tammany Parish, Louisiana. And it has been in Louisiana folklore with many swamp tour companies in the area capitalizing on the alleged existence, which is considered bullshit. Well, that's bullshit. Man, you know what? Wikipedia lies. I'm not going to read that. Unlikely by scientists. What the fuck do they know? I mean, really. So the creature is commonly described by witnesses as a large bipedal humanoid about 7 feet tall, covered in gray hair, having yellow or red eyes, and accompanied by a putrid odor. Now, you know, if you're in a swamp, something stinky. It's got to be the Honey Island swamp monster.
Yeah.
Other local names for the creature include Louisiana Wookiee and the Thing.
Wait. The Thing?
Yeah.
And it lives in a swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Swamp Thing?
No. Louisiana Wookiee.
Oh, man. I hope that's the only Star Wars reference we get.
The first claim sighting was in 1963 by Harlan Ford, a retired air traffic controller who had taken up wildlife photography. After his death in 1980, a roll of Super 8 film showing the creature was found among his belongings. So he found it,
Super
didn't
8.
believe it, kept it hidden until after he died.
He like Van Gogh'd this.
He knew. Well, yeah, he knew that if the truth got out, I mean, them Cajun boys were going to eat this Wookiee.
The truth is out there, Scully. Do you believe?
Today, the creature is still purported to inhabit the swamps and bayous along the Pearl River. Local folklore tell of a train crash that occurred near the swamp in the early 20th century, in which a traveling circus lost chimpanzees who adapted to the environment and offer a potential explanation as to the creature's origins.
So it's an escaped circus monkey.
Circus chimps thriving in the swamps of Louisiana to terrorize the Honey Island residents.
You know,
what's not to believe?
I'm just going to throw it out there.
What's not to believe?
I'm going to throw it out there, okay? I go to the swamps. I'm expecting to see alligators and snakes and shit like that. And I'm, you're going along the swamps. You expect to see these things. Mm-hmm. Now, if I was going in the swamps, hunting and doing whatever the hell it is I'm doing in the swamps, and I happen to see a big ass chimpanzee, bro, that'd scare the shit out of me because chimps do not belong in the swamps. You know, I think the damn chimpanzee in the swamps would be scarier than a gator. You expect a gator.
You expect a gator. You
yeah. Nobody mess with
gator. You're disappointed if you don't see a gator.
Right?
Nobody sees the Cajun Wookiee.
Fun fact, you can spot gators at night by shining lights, and you can see their red eyes. Their eyes glow red at night in lights. Yeah.
It's good to know if I'm ever in the swamp after dark.
Yep. If you're out there looking for honey.
Fair enough. That is my favorite cryptid.
So, are you ready for this next one?
Give it to me.
Not to sound like a broken record, but I kind of want to talk about the Yeti. Yetis, very, very similar to the honey badger swamp thing, and Bigfoot. You know, very large bipedal animals that are ape-like. Some come from Hoth. The Yeti, an ape-like creature. These come from the Himalayan mountains, or the Himalayan mountains. The only reason I pronounce it like that is because when I was living in Colorado, I went to a Himalayan restaurant where the chef there, who was actually the owner, it was from Himalaya, and said that it's pronounced Himalaya. And he's just like, yeah, I'm like, I've never heard that before in my life. And he's like, yeah, because you've probably only ever talked to Americans or other white people who pronounce things phonetically. It's phonetically pronounced Himalayan, but apparently it's pronounced Himalaya. So good little tidbit of knowledge there.
I'm so
Uh,
hey look. Mama
Huh?
calls it Mama calls it Himalayan. I'm gonna call it Himalayan.
Yeah, I mean, I had a person from there correct me, so I'm like, all right, look, you probably know more than I do if you're from there. So, but the Tibetan lore describes the three main varieties of Yeti: the Nyalmo, which has black fur and is the largest, um, standing around 15 feet tall. There's the Chudi, which stand around 8 feet tall and live 8,000 and 10,000 feet above sea level. And then there's the Rang Shim Bambo, which is the one kind of like we're seeing here, which has the reddish brown fur and is only about 3.5 feet tall. So they're actually kind of small. I mean, you can see like the people in the image in the background here. Like these are the midget ones. See, like
Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know there was different levels of Himalayan
Yetis.
Yetis. Okay.
Also known as abominable snowmen.
Yeah.
Because we often see them in places of snow like this.
Right.
Yeah, so let's see here. Let's see. The folklorists trace the origin of the Yeti to a combination of factors, including Sherpa folklore and misidentified fauna such as bear or yak. The Yeti is commonly compared to Bigfoot of North America, as the two subjects often have similar physical descriptions.
Sure.
So now we've got three different types of Cro-Magnon ape-like monkey men descending from different regions. Pacific Northwest, we got Louisiana, we've got the Himalayas, as well as other mountain ranges. And I don't know, man. There's even Russian folklore that these trace back to as well, which they're called the Chuchuna. And the Chuchuna is an entity said to dwell in Siberia, and it's been described 6 to 7 feet tall, covered with dark hair. And according to native accounts from the nomadic Yakut and Tungush tribes, it is a well-built Neanderthal-like man wearing pelts and bearing a white patch of fur on his forearms. It's said to occasionally consume human flesh, unlike the close cousins, the Almastis, which is another type that apparently don't eat people. So you got like the vegans and the carnivores and herbivores.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
that
Yeti
description that you just gave me reminds me of something. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. You said the white patches of fur on the arm
and chest.
Okay. Do you know about the Goon?
I know the comic The Goon.
No, I mean the Goon from Popeye.
From Popeye. So is the Goon from Popeye a Yeti? Or I'm sorry, a Chuchuna?
I think it's Chuchuna's cousin.
Is he Russian?
You know, as much as I love Popeye, I don't know the origins of the Goon. But that description just like there's a.
Oh, I don't even know what I'm. Oh, okay, I see it. Yeah, that kind of looks like him. That has
Chuchuna written all over it.
So I've actually got two more, but I am kind of running a little short on time here.
Well, I'll tell you what, man. Let's do a
So,
Cryptids Part 2.
well, I at least want to cover one of these. I mean, I can cover them both pretty quick. One of them doesn't have much lore to it, just sightings. So there's that.
No, it's like the Chupacabra.
Yeah, pretty much. The biggest one I want to get into is the Mothman.
Okay.
Can't talk cryptids without talking Mothman.
See, no, I've never heard of the Mothman until like maybe 10 years ago. What?
So here's one of the earlier sketches of the Mothman.
I've never even like heard like this was not something that like I guess it was a regional until the internet blew up.
It's very regional.
Okay.
Mothman is a story that goes back to 1966, November 15th, Western Virginia folklore, in Point Pleasant, Virginia. So the first newspaper report was the Point Pleasant Register from November 16th, 1966, titled "Couple Sees Man-Sized Bird ... creature ... something." The national press soon picked up the reports and helped spread the story across the United States. The story of the legend is believed to have originated from sightings of out of migration sandhill cranes. Now, diving deep into this, people talk about these sandhill cranes, which are the spottings actually happened around an old World War II bunker that was a TNT area, in which the TNT throughout the years bleeds out.
Okay,
And
like it bleeds nitroglycerin, right?
And it creates a toxic chemical which got into the water. And they're saying that these sandhill cranes mixed in with this toxic waste created kind of what we would see.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Cranes.
Yep. And in the years, we've gotten different movies, the Mothman Prophecies. We got a book, the Mothman Prophecies. We've got different comics. We got different video game references. Like if you ever play any of the Fallout games, there's a whole Mothman region, and he's one of the villains too. And
really,
in Fallout 76, there's a whole region, which the region is pretty much West Virginia, because in 2002 they actually declared a convention that would take place on the 3rd of September every year from then on out, in which they would celebrate and have this whole big Mothman, convention. And later in 2002, they opened up the Mothman Museum and Research Center. But the reason the Mothman got so popular is because after the sightings happened, in December 16th, 1967, I want to say, there was a bridge that ended up collapsing, killing 46 people. And there was an image taken from this bridge. And people were saying that on this corner, the very back corner over here that you see, there was something that they said was on the side of the bridge. This is the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, West Virginia.
That thing's huge. Whatever that is on the side of that bridge.
Yeah, and shortly after the sighting of this that day, on December 15th, 1967, the bridge collapsed, killing 46 people. So, which led to people believing that sightings of the Mothman were kind of like a warning, like an advanced warning. He would basically come before a disaster would strike.
So it's like prophetic. So not really like a bad cryptid or like an evil entity or anything like that.
But not necessarily. No, yeah, like he didn't go around killing people and murdering people. There were people around 1966, a few months after the original sighting in November 15th or November 15th, that like one of the sightings was a woman who was holding her child who saw the Mothman, and he has these giant red eyes, and said that she froze. She actually dropped her baby, and she dove on top of the baby like to protect it, and was like paralyzed for like quite a while. She couldn't move and until it fled. So, and then we also have this.
Oh, that can't be real. Come on. What the deuce?
Yeah, we also have this.
When was that taken?
I don't know. I managed to find this image. I just wanted to kind of share it, but this is one of the images that I found of supposed sightings of the Mothman in Point Pleasant. Now, in 2002, not only did they start a convention dedicated to Mothman, but they erected a statue, a 12-foot statue monument in dedication to the Mothman, and a brief story there talking about like the first time people saw it in 66 and 67, as well as the collapse of the Silver Bridge, stating, talking about like the prediction of the disaster.
Man, oh man, oh man.
So, and since then we've seen a lot of Mothman. In fact, Mothman was actually in a Batman comic too.
It was
It
a
was
Dick comic
the
too.
original Batman TV series. Superhero Batman and his rogue gallery were prominently featured in the public eye, while the villain Killer Moth did not appear in the show. The comic book influence of both him and Batman is believed to have some influence the coinage of the name Mothman in local newspapers. So, I mean, there's a lot that goes into this whole Mothman. Mothman's one of the biggest ones.
Really?
If you Google Mothman, it will take you to so many different conspiracy sites of people who talk about Mothman and talk about like his pathetic abilities to foresee events and stuff like that. I mean, these people are like hardcore believers in the Mothman. So it's really a big deep dive if you want to go into that. 1975, we had the book The Mothman Prophecies. 2002, we had the movie Mothman Prophecies. Let's see, we had a sci-fi TV movie called Mothman in 2010. Season 4, episode 5 of Monster Quest had a episode featuring Mothman. There's a documentary in 2017, The Mothman of Point Pleasure, which I think that you can find that one on Amazon Prime and maybe Hulu. Let's see. The Mothman Menace came out last year, which was a fictionalized account of the Silver Bridge collapse and other historical events from 1960s in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. And then Volume 4, Episode 5 of Unsolved Mysteries on Netflix from this year, 2024, The Mothman Revisited. So, Mothman's everywhere.
That's wild, man.
It really is. Mothman's everywhere. You ever get a chance to deep dive, go into that rabbit hole, check out The Mothman.
I think I will after tonight. I think of all the ones that we've talked about tonight, I think I actually will read about the Mothman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, get a chance, go back and check out the original, the movie too, Mothman Prophecies.
You know what? I don't know. Maybe I'll just watch episodes of The Tick.
Richard Gere was Richard Gere, Laura Penny, Will Patton, Deborah Messing, and Alan Bates are several of the main stars for the Mothman Prophecies.
That's a hell of a cast.
It's a pretty good cast.
That's a hell of a cast.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, well, it's a newer one to me. Like this is one of the ones that I thought was like part of like created by the internet type of thing, like a creepypasta.
I will say it's definitely gone, forest fire spread and gone kind of crazy from it. And there's a lot of probably misinformation of it, but it's a pretty cool read. Pretty interesting stuff involving the Mothman.
I'm actually more interested in that than Bigfoot. I would take a look.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Check it out.
Now, do we have enough time for your last one?
I mean, I could mention it briefly. It won't take very long.
Let
me see. So, April 20th, 1977, 17-year-old William Bill Bartlett claimed while driving that he saw a creature about 4 feet tall with glowing orange eyes and no nose or mouth, with a watermelon-shaped head on top of a broken stone wall. This is the Dover Demon. This is the original drawing. This is the original sketch drawing.
What is that?
Yeah. So they originally didn't they originally did not show this image to the police until later, when another kid, I wrote his name down. John Baxter, he was 15 years old at the time, while walking down the street late at night, noticed it walking towards him, chased it into the forest, and he was terrified. His drawing of the beast was this.
Holy crap.
He saw it standing upright, and he said that the eyes were glowing as well. Now, it wasn't until after John Baxter showed the police this image that William Bartlett, or Bill Bartlett, actually showed his image to the police, which was this image. And a colorized version of what we would get today is this. Now, we don't really have much going into it because there was only so many sightings of it within the year. Some people were saying that it was a moose calf late at night, and that the eyes were glowing in the light. The only issue with that is there were no moose in Dover, Massachusetts. So that's the only issue with that one there. But other people say that this is a hoax. Some people say that this is an alien and it's UFO sightings. But yeah, I couldn't really get too much information on this because, to believe it or not, there's really not that much information on this.
Ooh, that makes it even more intriguing.
That's the one reason I wanted to bring it up.
I want to know more about Squidward here, man.
I know. And I want to know why they call him a demon. This is the Dover Demon from Dover, Massachusetts, who looks more alienoid and reptilian or anything than a demon. Like, I don't know.
It's alliteration. That's all, man.
Yeah.
If it was another town, it would be like the Albany alien.
Yeah.
But that's weird. I can see, though, based on like this colorized picture over here, like how that could be a moose calf.
Yeah, I mean, with the scrawny limbs and everything, but that really doesn't really explain, the head, the misshaped head, and lack, no ears, no nothing, and both images are pretty much show a very similar head.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. It's from 2 different accounts.
Yeah. Two different kids who, and from what I was reading, I don't think that they knew each other.
Interesting.
And each one shows like the fingers, and you know who I think they found? I don't know if you used to search the internet in the late 90s, but did you ever remember a short series called Salad Fingers?
Vaguely, yes.
If you don't know Salad Fingers, go check it out. You
If
will
you don't
be
know salad fingers,
you would be
why are you
very
on the internet?
upset.
Like, why are you? How are you on the internet?
I like it when the red water runs. Fucking Salad Fingers, dude. He was creepy.
Yeah.
He was creepy. That was some weird shit that people came out with. I remember the first time I ever saw Salad Fingers was on E-Bombs World.
Oh God.
Yeah, that's dating myself right there.
Yeah, buddy. Holy cow! Did you find that through Ask Jeeves?
Yeah. I never used Ask Jeeves that much. I knew what I was doing on the computer.
I always went to Dogpile.
So there we have it, folks.
This is our little soiree into the world of the cryptids. Some of our favorites. Some to hopefully give you some inspiration to research some of these on your own.
Mm-hmm.
We sure do appreciate you watching, and we sure do appreciate you listening. Please send us any of your suggestions. Our DMs and our emails are open. Please like, subscribe, and comment on all of our social medias. OATFTG, everywhere from X, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Download us or give us a 5-star review on all of the streaming apps. If you can think of one that we're not on, you call us another one, but you would prefer us on a different streamer, let us know. We'll get on there for you.
Yeah, we're currently on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube Shorts, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, Amazon, and did I miss something?
I think that's all of them.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to hear us on another format, if there's something else you want us to be on, let us know. I'll get everything moved over there too.
Yeah. We sure do appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah. Bye. See ya.